In this episode, we're going to take this beautiful piece of machinery, get it back on the road, and blow the back tires off. Let's go pick up a car. I snipped this up on the interwebs, and we didn't even look at it. I literally handed the guy money and we rolled it on the trailer. He couldn't get it running. He said it sat for like 5 or 6 months. And once we got it here, we actually started looking at it, and this is the most cobbled together. I mean, I thought that I hacked stuff. This is mind-boggling, the amount of crap in here that's like, just, I'll have to show you some of it. The wires and frame, this is 3 frames, kind of just hogboarded together. But the good news is, guy couldn't get it running, and I literally just put 12 volts to the distributor and it immediately started. But then it started knocking really loud. But when I crawled underneath, there were just bolts ran through the torque converter with no nuts at all in there. So we're going to fix that up and try to look over some of the other stuff and remove some of the death out of it. And then we're going to back it off the trailer and just go beat the piss out of it and then sell it immediately. So Sean's going to take care of our digital battery situation, which in this unit, it resides in the trunk. Oh, that's on there good. And we're just going to take this and self-tap it, throw that in here, and then stack stuff on it so it doesn't move. And then we got to try to figure out what the other battery cables were like. Oh, that's okay.
Right under the carpet there.
Yeah. So Sean's going to take care of the digital, and I'm going to climb underneath and
oh, water pump.
take care of the... Really? Oh, she's chrome even.
Nice.
Does it spin? Nice. That'll go in the parts bin. And free pair of jumper cables. Armrest. We should see what door that goes to. And yeah, I'll climb underneath and I'll show you the torque converter situation. Here's some of the sketch level I was talking about. This is a 73 Camaro frame. This is a 51 Buick frame. They're next to each other with some zzz on here. And then way back by Bradley, there's like a 70 to 72 Chevelle rear end, also plated and welded in. But we're just going to ignore all of that and pretend it didn't happen. And we're going to come up here and work on the torque converter. Here's where the bolts usually go. This bolt was just jammed through with no nut. This is what a typical torque converter bolt looks like. However, it's too short. For some reason I can't figure out, there's a brand new 4000 stall torque converter in here, which is the extreme wrong application. So I'm going to get a longer metric bolt, put this through here, get all this bolted up, and then we'll fire it up again and see what else we have to work with. And I don't have a lift, so I just use my car trailer as my work lift. I strongly recommend it. And I'm going to put some Loctite on these because Basel. These aren't really the right bolts, but I had to get a longer length, and I'm not waiting for jigs or summit, so it's not the right grade, but oh well. There we go. Oh no. This is really fun when there's transmission oil dripping on you the whole time. If I can use the wrench just to turn the motor over. Oh yeah. Next bolt. Oh, that's my loose motor. Here's what they look like. Just Yeah, not quite done. Well, we think we got it to where we can maybe drive it now. We found a melted wire under the dash, and like this rat's nest of stuff. Got that reconnected. Put in a new ignition switch anyway, because the other one was just spinning in the dash. Sean got the battery figured out. So next step is roll this thing off the trailer and then just go drive it. I think the drive shaft is something not right there.
Stall is just ridiculous. Like the transmission just slipping always.
This is not drivable around town.
No.
Brakes, they're just gotta get the seat figured out too. Oh, they're digital.
Oh wow, they're even wired in.
Should probably get some gas first, huh? We better pull the hood on this, man. I think we got like a choke stuck or something. What side's the gas on? Middle?
I have no idea.
We'll figure it out on the side. Well, we made it literally 3 blocks, and it just keeps stalling and backfiring, and something really weird's going on. So we're gonna take a gander at her. And if it doesn't come out of it, we'll just try to get it down the highway. See what happens after that. Did some precision carb tuning and dialed in the timing with the light.
Digital.
I think it sounds a little better. Maybe we can get down the highway now. Too far advanced. But it's loose, so as we drive, it'll back off. Right? Sure. I can't believe this electric seat works. It's the only thing that's done right in this whole car. Now we've got a severe drive shaft vibration. Let's look at the motor. Like a surging in the motor. That's probably fuel related. Shaft and the rear end's going to blow out of this thing. 10 pounds of oil pressure, and it doesn't look like it's charging.
No. Yeah, the alternator sounded real bad.
So we probably have about 5 minutes of battery, and we're 10 minutes from the house. rate the sketch level 1 to 10, what would this one be?
12?
So we should go on the interstate then.
Yeah, sure.
Not so bad, I just...
Yeah, let's get off right away.
Yeah, good idea. Well, either the drive shaft or the rear end really didn't like that quick burnout. We are limping this thing right now, trying to get back to my house, so we can have some tools and try to figure out what happened. We suspected it wasn't charging, and we were right. Is it on?
All that thing.
It's
Digital unit there, I don't like
It's-
that.
automagical. Plan is to back it up on these ramps. You can never be too safe, so I went ahead and hooked up to make sure so it doesn't roll back and kill me. And we just did this because we're lazy, and I'll snip under and get it done. Well, I'll go ahead and show you what our vibration is. That is not supposed to happen. And I know that the U-joint here is toast, but I'm going to try to snug it up just for one more burnout if I can. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube yet, you're wasting your time. Well, it's been a couple days I parked this, and it was just the sketch level got a little too high, so I had to let it sit. And I think I have enough balls back now to kind of ride in this thing. So a couple things I got to fix here. It's definitely not charging, and although it sounded cool like it was a turbo or something under the hood, it was actually just the alternator bearings spraying out of the engine compartment and the bearing burning on it pretty much. So I picked up a new alternator. It's kind of just nestled in here. I'm going to finish that off. Turns out the transmission is completely empty, and I mean like dry empty. So I've got to put 16 or so gallons of stuff in that. And then I got to figure out that drive shaft vibration. I think I need a new yoke or some new clamps with some ears on it or something, because that U-joint's just sliding around. I found some air cleaner parts that don't match, but that'll work. Gonna time it by ear, and then more burnouts. And I think that's pretty much it for this car. That's all I got. I just can't handle it. So let's get this alternator on. This is a really fun process when you forget to disconnect the battery. Well, the new alternator's charging, works great. Then the old belt went ahead and flew off. And I thought that it might have had a couple more years left in it, but she gave up on me. So I found this brand new belt in the old vice grip garage, and yep, looks like that'll fit. So gonna throw this on and gonna try it again. This one's so dry rotted that the belt is turning my fingers black when I touch it. But all I really care is that it gets me about 5 minutes of burnout, and I'll be happy. It doesn't fit. Well, good morning. So, I figured out why this transmission was empty. It turns out like the drain plug, the pan gasket, rear drive shaft seal, pretty much everything leaks severely. And there's about 5 quarts running down my driveway this morning that my neighbors are really gonna like. So I'm gonna over torque all the pan gasket bolts and smear RTV over everything. So we're gonna fix it right. And then I'm gonna move on to this rear end situation. And I think we're just gonna weld her up. And then finally some more burnouts. Okay, plan. There's a secret to these bolts on these pans. How to properly torque them down. And what that is you just pull on it until your jawbone feels like it's going to explode and or something snaps. And then you know that you have properly over torqued the hell out of it. And it's either going to B, leak more severely, or A, somewhat fix the issue at hand. And I just don't think there's probably any saving this one, because it's really leaking. Could just be this little there's a little drain plug gasket behind here. Sometimes they're plastic, but again, that felt like it was just about to strip out, so that's perfect. And then while you're down here, you just want to, you know, do some maintenance on the other stuff. Looks good. I'll probably wipe this off just so it stops dripping for the time being. And we'll call this part done. Hey, here's your black velvet tech tip. Rear ends. If you don't know if you have a posi or a single wheel peel, the fastest way instead of jacking it up and turning the tires and doing all that stuff, popping the cover off, is just power brake the piss out of it for about 8 or 9 minutes, and then it should reveal itself as in such. So, we've got a pretty wicked drive shaft vibration back here, and the U-joint cups keep separating, which allows the drive shaft to move around. Normally there's a clip in here, or there's a tab on the yoke, and this has neither, and that just sounds like way too much work. So they make a heavy-duty strap that goes on the end here that has like a lip, so the U-joint doesn't come apart. That's the right way to fix it. So we're definitely not going to do it that way. I'm just going to weld a little, I don't know, I guess we'll call it a tit on here. Sorry, ladies. And she'll look factory. Oh, and And if you're going to weld correctly, you go ahead and don't clean anything up. And just hope that something works. Good enough. Wait a second, am I actually fixing something? Well, when you have no insurance, no plates, no registration, and no title, you should really take it easy on these, just in case. But that's not how I roll. After a couple days wrenching, it felt like it only took about 5 minutes to reach the cords on these tires. This car, the Frankenstein 51, is super sketchy, but honestly it's a blast to drive. It really isn't that uncomfortable. Now I have to decide if I really want to sell this thing, or maybe I should keep it around for a future episode. Drop me a comment on Facebook or YouTube, and let me know what you think I should do with this pile. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. Until next time.